Disney is already in complete panic mode as the Marvels has its opening day. We've seen how the box office projections are very bad. We've seen that the pre-sale ticket numbers are on par with The Flash, which means this is going to be one of the worst selling films in Marvel history. And they're already out in force, of course, trying to counter bad reviews. And this is what happened last night. Most of the reviews that had come in from the presses, pre-screenings, and the what they've seen of the Marvel so far have been tragic and terrible. They're saying it's the worst MCU film out there. And overnight, Disney propagated things with new reviews on the review end, which are showing that it's a great movie. So to try to counter this stuff. Now, a lot of these critics are paid Disney shills. We call them the access media for a reason. And that's what happens here is when the truth comes out, they scramble and they activate all their people to come out there and then try to overwhelm things and flood the review system in order to try to salvage it and try to coax people into going and seeing this movie. Now, I don't think it's going to work very well. I think we're going to see an audience reaction that's even worse than the critic score as this comes through from everything I've heard about this film so far and seen of clips and trailers. Absolute disaster. But as of right now, I'll show you exactly what's happening with the reviewers that Disney's paying. Hold on just a second. All right, my name's John Delarose. I'm actually a person here who writes the articles that a lot of the YouTubers read. I work for PJ Media and Bounding Into Comics. And so we're actually the people here doing the frontline journalism. A lot of people read my articles. A lot of people, of course, add their spin to it and things like that. But we are the real deal here. If you want the breaking news, you should be subscribing to this channel and check out PJ Media. This is where I'm writing right now. And I go over the reasons that Marvel's and the MCU is failing in this article right here. I'll put this in the description below so you can read this article yourself on your own time here because we're talking about the critic reviews. But let's look at the Marvel's tomato meter right here. So this is Rotten Tomatoes, which of course, they combine all these reviewers' scores. And yesterday, it was looking like a bit of a splat. It was a 56%, not looking good. It was on its way down because every review coming out was just very poor. Today, overnight, the critics have now brought this back up to something almost respectable. So if you go to top critics, the ones that people actually trust here, and you have to do this because you'll see on Rotten Tomatoes, they filter things now, meaning they've stacked a bunch of reviews that reviewers don't trust and don't read, which means they're Disney paid shills. And then when you get to the actual critics people like and trust their opinions, 41%, way bad, looking terrible. And I'll show you some of them real quick here. The audience score, they do the same thing. They trick everybody with this verified reviews thing. And then you go to all reviews and you'll see that the people who are actually seeing this movie hate it. Now, if you go and look at this stuff, IGN's saying that it's an 8 out of 10. But look at the audience rating summary. Wow, 2.7 out of 5 stars. That's not an 8 out of 10 there. So the shills are coming out from the access media, as you can see, and the people are not liking this whatsoever. And here we are. The New York Post says the worst MCU movie yet. Now, this is not like a right-wing bigot blog. The New York Post is anything but that. So you see that this is something that everybody is tepidly looking at and saying is going to be a train wreck. I was watching the Critical Drinker's tweets last night, and he said there's like a 10-minute dance scene like slapped into the middle of the movie. I don't know who they're trying to appeal to with that sort of thing, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, here is Forbes actually writing this up. The Marvels flips from rotten to fresh with dozens of new reviews. Very, very suspect, that, isn't it? It was looking real bad every single day. Suddenly, dozens of new reviews show up overnight. It's kind of like the 2020 election with the votes that showed up overnight, right? You remember the curve went like this and then went beep, and then suddenly Joe Biden's winning everything, right? It's exactly what's happening here with Disney. They're rigging the system every single time with these review systems. It hasn't been honest in years, and you see exactly what's happening with that. But they're already working on their damage control here too. This is somebody who works for Rotten Tomatoes, Tessa Smith. Here she is, and she says, "It's really interesting to me that it's all men who are actively hating on the Marvels. The movie isn't perfect, but it doesn't deserve the hate that many men are giving it." They're already activating the you're misogynistic if you don't like this film sort of setup. And, unfortunately, they have 3 very unlikable female leads who are, just a representative of that pandering diversity that South Park made fun of in their Into the Panderverse sort of thing. And, they're trying to make the Marvels into the next, quote, Avengers. I mean, this is just not the hat you hang on. This is not Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans sort of charisma here. These are three unlikable women, and it is part of what's happening here with the Marvels for sure. So that's what's happening right now with the reviews. This is going to be an absolute train wreck from everything I've seen. Mark my word. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this, my friends. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.